All right, so the NFL just officially passed the rule change on numbers, right? So now skill players outside of defensive and offensive line, I believe, are allowed to change their number to anything in the numerical value now in terms of
Yep.
numbers, to my knowledge.
Yeah, I think
And
it's running back,
yep,
receivers,
corners,
uh,
safeties,
cor-
linebackers,
corner, safeties,
running
linebackers.
back, quarterback. So all skill positions outside
Yeah.
of line on both sides of the ball are allowed to now change their numbers to their number of choosing. The hang up, the stipulation is is the fact that, say, a guy like Dalvin Cook, he was interested in changing his number until he realized he would have to buy out the entire stock of jerseys that were currently produced with the number 33, which would have cost him about $1.5 million, and he changed his tune pretty quickly. Which, I mean, if you're an NFL person, I mean, it's smart. It's a business, bro. It's a business, and that's a lot of money lost. Now, I heard from, people, sources, things of that nature, that it would be smart to archive those jerseys, hold them,
Sure.
and then sell them from a marked up price later on because you can't
Yeah.
get your hands on them anymore. But I don't
Yeah.
know if that would work. In theory,
No,
that sounds good.
Historically, it hasn't worked. Like if you look at any player that say he switched teams, right? The second that player switches teams, their jersey drops half in price. And like I can still go get on NFL Shop a no Sean Moreno jersey for about $50
Yeah.
because they still have not sold them. So I hear people saying that, and I don't agree.
I don't
think
either.
I think it's a weird point to make. That's not how jerseys work. And granted, with the age of the internet, people can just make stuff rare and be like, "Oh, it's more expensive now," and it's like, oh, "Okay, cool." In the age of people just making their own currencies,
What?
so I don't agree with that. I think that would be weird. But and another thing I don't agree with, I don't really like this rule change.
I don't either. I think
I'm
it's
not
awful.
a big fan.
I'm not
I
a
think
big fan.
I think it's weird. I think it's like, okay, like you did it in high school, fine. You did it in college, cool. But like, this is the pros. Like, this is always, and I know I sound like an old grandpa at this point, but like, that's the way it's been. Like, you want to wear single digits, be a quarterback or a kicker.
Right.
You want to wear teens, be a receiver. Like, I'm not feeling the whole, like, be whatever number you want to be, because, like, I don't know. I think it's going to look weird. Like, for example, Patrick Peterson changed teams, and he's on the Vikings now. And he's going to start repping number 7. That's going to be weird, right?
Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't have another reason for me not liking it other than it's weird. I know that's I know that's a dumb reason, but it's like it's weird. I don't like it.
I think the thing about it is like there's always been a separation between the college level and the pro level.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big fan of trying to merge college and pro athletics because they're very, very different. And I think it should stay that way. There's a difference between being a college football player and being a pro football player. And I think part of the allure of being a pro football player is doing things that are what the demands of a pro football player are. I mean, it's interesting. I don't know. It just feels weird to me. It just feels weird. I feel like I'm going to be watching college football, and I'm going to imagine that a lot of people are not going to do it because of that buying out your old jersey kind of thing. But at the same time,
I think you're going to see a lot of rookies doing it. A lot of rookies are going to have their single-digit numbers still. I mean, as many as you can, right? I mean, a lot of the quarterbacks and kickers have their single digits, so... but they're available because there's only, 3 quarterbacks on a team and a kicker and a punter. So you still got like 5 numbers left in the single digits at least. And then guys who change teams like Patrick Peterson, he didn't have to buy out his other jerseys because he left the team. Like there's no like you don't have to buy out the rest of your jerseys if you change teams. That's not on you. That's a career choice. But changing your number is a luxury. So if you're changing your number after you've already been on that team, then it's like a guy like Stephon Diggs. He came out flat out, said, I'm not changing my number because the people who bought my jersey are fans of mine. And I'm not going to screw over fans of mine because now they have jerseys that are obsolete.
Right.
And they're going to feel like kind of like left out, like, oh man, I just bought the Stephon Diggs jersey and now it's not even the number he's wearing anymore. Like, that's annoying. And he didn't want to do people like that. And I respect that. And
I love that.
Again, I'm not saying you're wrong for, if you like this change, I'm not saying you're wrong for liking the change. I personally just don't like it. And it's not like this big like issue. Like, I think that the game's going down the toilet and blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to make it a bigger deal than it is. I just don't like it. I think it's weird and I think it's silly. I just think they should keep it the way it was.
Yeah, and on top of that too, it's one of those things, kind of like Stephon Diggs has said, you know, you're putting a lot of people in a lot of weird positions, especially the fans, right? Like these players don't make money if it's not for the fans.
Right.
Like, the fans drive the league. The league doesn't exist if they don't have fans. There's no money to be made.
I already have not bought a jersey since 2015 when I bought a Terrell Davis jersey, because I do not feel comfortable buying jerseys because people are changing teams so often nowadays. I just don't feel comfortable buying a jersey. The only current player that's still on the Broncos roster that I have a jersey of is Von Miller, and I got it in like 2012.
Right.
It was like the year after he got drafted. And I still have it. It was way too big. It was like it was a really nice jersey. My parents got it for me for Christmas. Very nice of them. But I haven't bought a jersey. I mean, I got a Peyton Manning jersey because, like, obviously Peyton Manning, like, that was awesome. My friends got me like a custom jersey for like my name on the back. That was nice. But like, I used to get jerseys all the time. Like, almost every year I would be like, oh, can I have a jersey? Can I get a jersey? Can I have a jersey? I had jerseys hanging up across my room. Right. I couldn't even imagine buying a jersey of someone's and then the next season they're like, I feel like wearing this number. And there's there's no buy-in. It's just like, do whatever you want. And that's frustrating to me. I would be frustrated as a fan if I were buying these jerseys. Like, if I got a Cortland Sutton jersey and all of a sudden he changed his number to number 1 because he was number 1 in college or something. I don't even know what number he was in college. But if he was, like, hypothetically, he was number 1 in college and he changed it to number 1, I'd be like, oh, that's annoying.
Right. And my question is, too, where did this even come from? This came out of nowhere. Like, I heard nothing.
I think it was proposed by the Chiefs.
By the Chiefs?
Mm-hmm.
Because I heard, like, nothing about this at all. And then it just came out of nowhere. It just seemed like it came out of the blue. And I was like, I didn't even know this was an issue. I never heard anything about this. I never even knew this was a thing until it got passed. And I was like, what just happened?
Yeah, it was a thing that I heard, like, floating around. And I was talking with my cousin Vin. And I was like, I don't think this is going to happen. Like, it's a big change. Like, that's a big deal. Like, this is not a small change in terms of aesthetics and to the eye and stuff like that. It's a big deal in terms of, you know, the landscape of football. It's always been a certain way. I think a long time ago they changed receivers where they could get numbers outside of the 80s and like the teens, like in the early 2000s. I don't think receivers could always get the teens. I think it was only 80s.
Right.
And they changed that a while ago, which, again, I'm sure that was weird for people too, and I'm sure they were having the same conversation we're having now. But the single digits, it throws me off, man.
Yeah, it's strange.
Single digits always has been quarterbacks and kickers, and I think seeing it on anyone else is going to be very strange.
I'm interested to see what the response is. I'm interested to see what the feedback is from the fans, because we haven't heard much yet. I think once we see it on TV and see it live, I think we're going to start to hear either more blowback or people are going to like it. I mean, either way, like you had said, we're talking about a luxury thing. At the end of the day, it doesn't affect the game in any way, shape, or form, in my opinion. It's all just, I like it, so I'm going to do it kind of deal, which at the end of the day, that's fine. I mean, but I'm just interested as to where it all came from. That's what I'm really curious to try to find out in the future. I'm going to have to do some research because that is very odd to me. It literally felt like it just came out of nowhere.
I know that I was watching a Pat McAfee clip from a while back, and he was talking about how, like, some of these rule changes come about. Management will literally go to players and be like, hey, like, is there anything about the league that you want changed or anything that you think should be different? Rules, literally anything. And players, like, sometimes will just, like, spit stuff out that they actually think, or sometimes, like, they'll just spit stuff out and be like, well, let's see if this makes it anywhere. And they'll just, like, say something. So I'm sure, like, a lot of Chiefs players maybe said, like, oh, it'd be cool to wear, like, regular numbers. Like, I don't know, since you're asking. I said, okay. They drafted it, took it to the team, and the team said, this is what a lot of the players say they want. They said, okay, we'll bring it to the league. And the league said, okay. And it was like, wait, what, really? Like, I think it comes from, obviously, players and people in the front office of teams. And obviously the front office of teams gets things from their players a lot of the time in terms of what's hip, what's new, what's cool. Because at the end of the day, players are around the same age as a lot of, the people on social media.
Right.
So those are those types of people are the people that are engaging in your content in meaningful ways. So if your players are saying people want something, you might want to listen. So I'm sure it came from there somewhere. Granted, there are other players who hate this change.
Yeah.
I know. I think I heard Tom Brady say, like, this is dumb. Like, this is stupid.
He hates it.
He said it would actually mess with his, like, defensive call-outs because numbers are not what they're, like, you can expect. Like, linebackers should be anywhere from 40 to 59.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have to, like, be like, what number are you? Like you can't just fill in the blanks with your brain. You have to actually, like, okay, like, guys, like, this number, the weird number 2 linebacker.
Yeah.
Like,
number 4 linebacker.
Exactly. It's just, and I guess some guys it's going to make a difference more than others. I mean, they'll figure it out. They're smart guys, but
definitely.
It'll definitely be weird for a while for a lot of people.
Definitely. Okay, let's